Welcome back everyone to G.OctoCosplayCreations. Last time you were here, I showed you how I planned my Arcus Miya cosplay. Today, I'm going to start sewing her. Let's get started. During the previous planning stage, I patterned out her entire outfit. Now, I'm going to use this plan to sew her. I'm going to start with those first 3 rectangles for her bodice as we move on to our first step. I'm going to take these 3 pieces and pin them at the top to lay it over my mannequin. And here I'm going to demonstrate as I pin it to adjust the fabric to how I want it to fit my body. I start with the sides and try to take it in after I make sure that the middle is secured. I'm going to repeat that process for the other side as well and adjust it until I like how it fits. Next, bring it to the sewing machine and sew along that pin line. This clip is me sewing along the shoulders to secure the vest shape. Now, with that done, it's time to start working on the wrap skirt. I'm going to start with the white satin. The wrap skirt will be made of 3 pieces as well, 1 rectangle for the back and 2 larger ones for the side, so we can replicate that wrap look. Then, go back to the mannequin. I'm going to start with that first piece in the back. Once the main piece is secured, I'm going to spin it around and pin the sides. These parts might look a little bit weird since it won't reach the center. These parts might look a little bit weird since it won't reach the entire length. So start at the bottom, I'm going to work upwards. There's going to be a gap, but this is what I needed to get that dramatic V shape in the skirt. And of course, replicate this on both sides. Now celebrate the awesome pinning work and bring it to the sewing machine so we can sew along that pin line. Now it's time to move on to the lining. Essentially, we just want to recreate that dress reversed. So lay those 2 pieces together, start pinning them down so we can adjust it to what we need. For the video, I'm just demonstrating the lining for that skirt piece. Bring it to the sewing machine and sew down that pin line. Lay it over the mannequin to check your work. Again, we're just replicating the dress, so adjust it to how you want it to fit you. And sew that all together so we can move on. Now, on to the last step, the petal skirt. For the petal skirt, we're going to start with pink satin. Lay that fabric flat out over your working table and start measuring each piece out. For the pink petals here, we're going to start by taking a width of 6 inches and a length of 20. I'll show you me measuring it out and actually drawing on the pattern with chalk, but to simplify it, I mainly just replicate this with a bunch of rectangles to make sure I got it right. Once you have it patterned out on the fabric, pin it down and cut it out, and then I just lay over each piece and cut it from there to make it nice and simple for me. We're going to replicate this main strategy with every single petal we have. I'm going to take next those transitional petals with a 5 inches and a length of 20. And again, pull it over and make use of all the weird fabric shapes. I'm going to use this little section for those tiny petals with a width of 3 inches and a length of 12. And finally, those long petals, I'm actually going to start by taking a width of 8 inches, that's their widest point, and then continue it down for 30. So we can make sure it fits everything it needs to be. And you'll see me actually mapping out the full design to make sure it'll look how I want it to in pencil, although I think it might be a little too light for you to see it from the camera. But once those petals are done, we're going to switch fabrics and take out our mesh. Lay it flat out over the table and lay your petals over it. I wanted to double it to make sure there was enough room to get those ruffles in. So I just laid out my original petals, flipped it over, and cut down the mesh. And then pin it from both sides and sew it down. And with that, those are the main steps I took to make my Arcus Miya, or at least the base gown. Come back next time to see how it turned out.